Welcome into the Fade. I am Clay Travis. She is Kelly Stewart. Tomorrow is my Halloween party. Last year, Kelly, you came. Been a bit of a controversy this year. My wife wanted to be Charlie Chaplin, and she wanted me to dress up as an Oompa Loompa. This is real. Like, we have couple costumes. All right? So I said no. I want to be Ferris Bueller, and you can be Sloane. My wife's a brunette, pretty. She has a little Sloane look to her. I think I could pass, enough for Ferris Bueller. My Ferris Bueller outfit did not arrive. Everybody else's outfit showed. So Laura gets dressed up as Charlie Chaplin, or Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, I guess, whatever that guy's last name was. She looks fabulous. Somehow looks like a sexy Charlie in the Chocolate Factory guy. I guess it's Willy Wonka, right? Willy Wonka.
Yeah, this makes me. I got to interject. This makes so much more sense. I'm trying to picture Laura with that little mustache, and he's all pale, and I'm like, Charlie Chaplin. Why would you be an Oompa Loompa? I get it now. She's screwed up. Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. She's got because all girls' costumes, Kelly, pretty much this, are just sexy versions of something, right? It's like, oh, I'm going to be a sexy angel. Oh, I'm a sexy nurse, right? So she's like sexy Willy Wonka, to the extent that any of you were out there and like, hey, you know what I really need? A sexy Willy Wonka. I'm an Oompa Loompa. I put this thing on. I just look like a fat schlub with green hair. And the Ferris Bueller costume didn't arrive. So I've got a whole team here out looking for Ferris Bueller costumes for me. Doesn't exist anywhere. They said, oh, we were sold out. We just didn't send it. So she gets her Sloane costume. And now I might have to be an Oompa Loompa and just look like a fat, ugly dude, which, some people would say I already do. But then she's like sexy Willy Wonka. And so I feel like I should be able to throw the flag here on a costume that I had no interest in. So anyway, this is what I'm dealing with, Kelly. The party is tomorrow. It's supposedly getting expedited to me. I have no faith that it's going to arrive. So I want to get ahead of any pictures of me as a fat, ugly Oompa Loompa next to my hot wife dressed like Willy Wonka. This was not my choice. I was completely opposed to it. I wanted to be Ferris Bueller, and I wanted her to be Sloane. Are you wearing a costume this year?
If I am, I haven't figured it out yet. Okay, so Ferris Bueller, all you need is like a white t-shirt, black jeans, and like a tiger sweater, right? Or this weird leather jacket. It's not like his outfit would be hard for you to just go on Amazon and get a couple of pieces.
Okay, well, that's what's going to be the next step is I'm going to send Katie out, who works with us, to make me look like Ferris Bueller because the Ferris Bueller costume didn't come. I can't go find any. I don't know how to shop for clothes. I mean, if I don't buy it at Costco, I've got no idea where. I literally if it's not here, or if it's not Costco, I've got none of it.
I didn't take you for a Costco guy, Clay. Top 5 worst places on the planet. Oh, of course you do. Good
Costco
grief.
is the greatest store that has ever existed in the history of humanity.
Until you have to wait in line. The greatest thing that ever was invented in history was when stuff like that gets delivered to your front door.
Oh, well, trust me, everything gets delivered for Amazon. I don't know what I spend on Amazon a year, but there's a package here every day. This is actually funny. My 14-year-old is going to be a total meathead. And this is 100% true. Last night, I'm getting ready for bed, and he's like, hey, did my package come? Or it's a couple nights ago. I was like, your package? What did you order? And he was like, well, I was on TikTok, and they're selling. Do you ever see these forearm, arm, weights where you just squeeze them and the
grips.
It's like such a such a meathead thing to do. And I was like, why didn't you get that? And he was like, well, I'm thinking that when I'm sitting in my classroom and I'm just having to watch the teacher, that he's just going to be sitting there working on having the strongest forearms known to man. And I'm like, you are just absurd. But anyway, he goes to an all boys school, and all they do is push-ups and weightlifting, and there's no girls there. I was like, dude.
Good.
And I'm curious, if there were pretty girls at your school, they would see you doing the stupid arm strengthener, and one of them would be like, you look ridiculous. there's no check, on masculine behavior when you go to an all-boys school. So it is just the broed-out, broingest brodom of all time, and this is what it ends up looking like. It's basically, anyway, so, and I was like, this is just ridiculous. And he's got a good sense of humor, so he recognizes that it's somewhat ridiculous, but this is what life is like in my house. All right, we got gambling picks. Kelly, I am on my blood bank guarantee. Let me just start with it. I got to remember what it was because I wrote it, but I didn't jot it down on this paper. I love Ole Miss to blow out Oklahoma. I don't think Oklahoma can score. Ole Miss has a really good defense. The number is high. It's around 20, but I think Ole Miss is going to beat Oklahoma like 42-3, 42-10, something like this. So my blood bank guarantee, it's not a huge game. Coming off the loss over LSU, I think that Ole Miss has been stewing. I don't buy in. Oklahoma has fired their offensive coordinator, basically. They're going back and forth between not very good quarterbacks. I don't know that they get to higher than 10. That's my blood bank guarantee. College football, do you have a favorite pick or two? We'll start off right off the top with our favorites.
Yeah, it's tough to quantify just one favorite, right, Clay? Because I play 3 or 4 games that are about the same, but the one that everybody's going to hate, so I'll make it my favorite, is Washington. Because why wouldn't I want to step in front of the freight train that is Indiana? There's a hashtag going around, by the way. It's Windiana. And this was the question I asked you last week in regards to Texas, Georgia. I said, hey, listen, I don't know if I want to step in front of the freight train that is Texas right now, but who the hell have they played?
I did.
I'm
I
happy
took
for you.
Georgia, and I said they would win.
A lot of my friends did, and I was not one of those, so I'm not making that mistake again. I mean, look, bottom line, did any of us see this Indiana team coming? I don't know a single person that was like, you know what, Indiana's going to be 6-0. But if you look at it and kind of see what's going on here, they're very well coached. Their coach has a winning record, and they don't beat themselves. But the reality is this. Last week, everybody saw the second half of that game where the backup quarterback comes in, fills in for the starter, puts up 28, and, no worries, there's no drop-off here. And then they come out and then march out basically a touchdown against a pretty solid Washington team this year. And Jeff Fish does really well in the underdog role. So I'm just going to jump on the tracks and wait for the Windiana freight train to hit me, but I'm taking the 6.5.
All right, here's a couple. By the way, there are a lot of good games on Thursday and Friday. I want to get ahead of this because we're taping this on Thursday. Tonight, Syracuse-Pitt. Kelly, everybody is focused, myself included, on Miami being undefeated, on Clemson having just one loss, and on that being the likely ACC title game. But Pitt's still undefeated. Syracuse only has one loss. One of these teams is going to come out of this game, and Clemson still has to go to Pitt, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm on the over in this game. Pitt's out close to a touchdown favorite last I saw, Kelly. But this is a really good Thursday night football game that if you care about the playoff, maybe you turn on and pay a little bit of attention to.
Yeah, look, a slight nod to Syracuse here, mainly because I don't want to lay points with Pat Narduzzi. The guy kicks more field goals than any other coach in college football history, and that's not how you cover games. I agree with you. Pittsburgh's kind of right in there. I mentioned Virginia a couple of weeks ago that nobody was talking about. Syracuse, another one of those ACC teams that deserves to get a little bit of credit here, and I think this is too many points on a Thursday night.
Okay, Friday games. You lived in Vegas for a long time. UNLV was never as good as they are at football right now under Barry Odom. Boise State going on the road. Boise State's only loss so far this year, a very close defeat at Oregon. And then Rutgers, 3 losses in a row, going on the road against SC. Kelly, this game kicks at 10 p.m. Eastern. I mentioned Halloween. We're having a Halloween party at my house tomorrow. I'm going to get in bed, and this game is still going to be going on. I'm probably going to be drunk, and I'm going to find out whether or not I've won this game or not. 2 pretty decent, again, Thursday game tonight, double Fridays. I'm on UNLV plus the points, and I'm on Rutgers plus the points. I'm taking both Friday night underdogs. Do you have a dog in this race?
Not in that race, but I'm going to take Boston College here. Friday night. I'm shocked this line is this high. I like what Bill O'Brien's been able to do with this team. And it's interesting because I bet against them and Thomas Castellanos a few times, but BC has a really solid defense. Now as a home dog, come on. This almost looks too good to be true. I like Louisville. While they do have a couple extra days to play, I do like Boston College at home catching over a touchdown.
No doubt. All right, several other topics, games here. Notre Dame, Navy. Kelly, I think one of the best stories of the year, Navy and Army, both undefeated. There's a wrinkle where they could be playing for the championship of their conference before they play the Army-Navy traditional December 10th-ish game of the year. And I'm taking Navy plus the points, East Coast game against Notre Dame. Big picture playoff talk. Notre Dame, good shot to go 11-1 if they can beat Army and Navy. SC has fallen apart. Florida State's a mess. Their schedule very favorable down the stretch. Are you playing this game one way or the other?
Man, I looked really hard at Navy early in the week, Clay, because I love these double-digit scrappy dogs. Problem is they're playing at MetLife, not in Annapolis, so that kind of hurt things a little bit. And I started looking, I said, okay, who has Navy beat? Who have they played? Okay, so they beat Louisville. I was happy about that result because we were on Navy. Who did Notre Dame beat? Oh, good. They beat Texas A&M. I'm not really impressed with either one of these teams necessarily. I think the key to advantage here is whoever wins the time of possession is going to cover. I unfortunately don't think Navy can win this game outright. I hope I'm wrong. I saw a girlfriend of mine that you know, Pam Maldonado, say that Blake Horvath is the best quarterback Notre Dame will have faced this year. And again, that's because they haven't played anybody. So we'll see how this one ends up panning out. But I can see Navy getting in the back door here. But boy, do they look like that scrappy dog that everybody loves that has fleas.
Okay, a couple of other games out here. I've got Arkansas and Mississippi State on the over. This is one that most people are not going to pay attention to. I really like it. State scored 31 2 weeks ago against a really good Georgia defense. They scored 24 last week against a really good A&M defense. Arkansas, I think, is going to give up some points to them. I like the over in this game. I think it could go way over. It would not shock me if each team scores 28 or more. Again, I know it's like the worst game on the slate for the SEC, basically. But, Kelly, I love the over here.
Yeah, listen, the only problem is that now that Arkansas has lost their big-time running back, I don't know how they're going to get anything going offensively. And that's the only thing that scares me. You mentioned Mississippi State's quietly covered 3 straight, but those were very, very big numbers. 0-6 straight up in the FBS. This is not a team I want to back, but I can see where this one ended up 38-28 and wouldn't be surprised in the slightest.
Several other games. I'm taking Illinois, big underdog on the road against Oregon. I thought Illinois would beat Michigan outright. I was right on that one. I think that they can cover as in plus 3 point under a touchdown underdog. And I'm also taking 2 other big underdogs, Kelly. Mizzou plus the points at Bama and Texas at Vanderbilt. I'm taking Vanderbilt plus the points. I know you love double-digit underdogs. I know you like to hop on the underdog train. Do you like any of those 3? Again, Illinois, Mizzou, and Vandy, 3 big underdogs. I'm taking all 3 underdogs.
Yeah, Illinois does look like quite a few points, but boy, did Illinois look good against a just mediocre Michigan team last week. Oregon now ranked number 1. I do like playing against teams in that spot. They're too busy reading their press clippings to cover a spread. I'm going to be on Mizzou with you, Clay. Bottom line, I think Missouri has a real shot to win outright. I know lots of different, rumors flying around about Brady. And yesterday I released this play. I said, all right, here's what I'm going to bet. And then 3 hours later, they said he was doubtful. So I sent a text to my buddy in Columbia and I said, hey, I just need a little insight here. Before I post this video, I can change it. What do we do? And he goes, last week in the second half, we gave him that Patrick Mahomes shot, and he, came back to win against Auburn. I said, yeah, and he goes, think that's going to be the play this week. So I hope that is correct information. Coach Drinkowitz, I make fun of him all the time, as does everybody else on social media. But you know what he does? He plays to the level of competition. And even though Alabama's dropped 2 of the last 3, it still says Alabama on the front of their jersey. I think the Tigers are going to hang with a very desperate Tide team that could beat themselves. Jalen Milroe, 2 interceptions against your team last week. No rushing touchdowns. Trouble in Tuscaloosa, in my opinion.
Biggest game of the weekend, in my opinion, speaking on opinions, LSU at A&M. A&M has been a disaster in big games at Kyle Field. I think they get the win. They're around a 2.5-point favorite over LSU. LSU has won 6 in a row since they lost in week 1 to SC. Good win, credit to LSU, on the road at Arkansas at night. But I feel like A&M is going to win and will be the only undefeated team in the SEC at the end of the night. Now, LSU, if they win, would be the only undefeated team in the SEC. I mean the conference play, not overall. Everybody else has lost a game, clearly. But I'm going to go with LSU. Another road game at night, I believe. I'm going to take Wisconsin plus the points against Penn State. This is a trap game, Kelly. Penn State is hosting Ohio State next week. They are going to be sky high for that game. It's going to be a tough environment in Camp Randall. And then one more. This is my full college football slate. I'm taking Auburn. Sooner or later, they're going to win an SEC game on the road at Kentucky plus 2.5. All right. Anything you like in any of those, do you take a side?
I lean with you with LSU, except they scare me. 4-11 against the spread on the road under Brian Kelly, and that's ultimately going to keep me off, but I hope you're right because I have that season win total under with A&M, and I want to back Wisconsin.
I took A&M, by the way. Sorry if I misspoke. I took A&M minus 2.5. I think A&M gets that win.
Okay.
So we're on opposite sides there.
Yeah, not really. I'm not going to get to I don't trust Brian Kelly on the road. Here's the thing about Wisconsin. They've now covered 3 straight, but against teams named Purdue, Rutgers, and Northwestern. And every single time I bet against James Franklin, I just get absolutely obliterated. Like, I would love to take the plus 6.5. We know Camp Randall has a great home environment, but the last 2 ranked opponents they played there, well, USC was ranked when they played there, Alabama and USC. I'm not really that impressed with this Badgers team this year. 6.5 seems interesting because, as you mentioned, it is a trap spot with Penn State having Ohio State on deck. As far as that goes, I don't have any exciting games. You talk a lot of SEC. I talk a lot of Big 12. I like Texas Tech plus 6.5 over TCU. Looking at the ACC, I think North Texas can get a win hit at home over Tulane. That team has been very good at home. They need another win to become bowl eligible. And you're going to start hearing me talk about that a lot over the next few weeks because to some teams, that really is a big deal.
Okay, let's go to the NFL. I'll start with you. What do you like the most in the NFL so far, Kelly?
God, what a gross card in the NFL. I have one best bet. My best bets were doing really well, and now they've really regressed. But I kind of joked with a buddy a while ago, Clay, and I said, is the sharpest line in the NFL 5.5? Because it sure feels like it. And then for the first 6 weeks, it just printed money. And for the last basically 2, it has not. The rubber started to meet the road here. But I do like this Colts team. And, well, it doesn't really matter to me whether it's Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco under center. This is more of a play against the Houston Texans. And I love C.J. Stroud and what he was able to do for me last year. And he has not really regressed at all, right? He has 262 passes on the season, no interceptions. But this is a divisional type game. And I find it very interesting that not only Indianapolis is seeking revenge against a Houston team that really wasn't that good, they're 6-1 against the spread as a conference dog of 4 points or more. I'm going to take the better coach here. I really like Shane Steichen, especially what he's able to do with this offense. So 5.5 with the Colts is my best bet.
I'm on the opposite side, so we completely canceled each other out here. And the reason I'm on the opposite side is I can't buy the Colts offense. They've gone back and forth. I think they're actually better with Joe Flacco than with Anthony Richardson. I know Anthony Richardson's still very young quarterback, hasn't played very many games, got knocked out with a severe injury last year to his shoulder, if I remember correctly. And C.J. Stroud at home, I just feel like he's going to get it done. So I'm on that one. Here are my other picks, Kelly, you can react to. I've got the Jets-Patriots under 40.5. This Jets offense and the Jets season in general has turned into kind of a snuff film. I don't think Aaron Rodgers looks that healthy. He looks stiff to me. I don't know out on the field, like maybe being 40 years old and coming off of the injury that he did, he's still not back. I'm taking the Lions. Titans are a disaster. They're selling right now, getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins, bailing on the season. I just don't think they can score many points. Lions, are going to go for 30 or more. Titans basically have no chance of getting there. I like the Bills-Seahawks over. I think that's a sneaky, really fun game. Seahawks offense has been scoring on everybody. Bills seem like they're kind of rounding into form a bit on the offensive side of the ball. Panthers-Broncos, the Broncos well. I can't take them as a 10-point favorite over the Panthers, even with Bryce Young coming back. I can take them on the under. And then I'm taking the Cowboys on the road against the 49ers off of the embarrassment, off of the bye. Not sold. Brandon Ayuk now out for the season. This 49er offense still without Christian McCaffrey. A lot of their playmakers gone. I am going to take the Cowboys there. So that's my OutKick six-pack.
I'm with you on the Cowboys, Clay. That makes a lot of sense. Just embarrassed a couple of short weeks ago by the Lions. Bye week, kind of a get-right game. San Francisco off that ugly loss to Kansas City, where everybody I know liked San Francisco in that one. So that leads me into why I like the Raiders plus 10, which is absolutely, utterly, and disgusting. But I saw a clip on social media earlier in the week, and it's talking about how bad the Raiders are and how much the Chiefs probably don't want to play them either. Says not only do they just play San Francisco, they host Monday Night Football, Tampa Bay, then Denver, Buffalo. The Chiefs probably want to play the Raiders right now less than the 3-game losing streak Raiders want to play them. And that's what I find to be really funny in some of these interesting scheduling spots. Yes, this is a divisional dog that can be scrappy. Remember last year around Christmas, the Raiders went into Kansas City and got the outright win. This is a Kansas City team that hasn't been themselves. Sure, they're undefeated, which if you look at it from just that standpoint, it makes sense. But they're finally becoming more penalized than they were before. Patrick Mahomes, while he may have a new weapon in DeAndre Hopkins, he's not going to know the playbook this early on. You've got a team out west who loves their head coach through all of his faults. Even Max Crosby said he would not be a Raider unless Antonio Pierce was his head coach. You get a second week with Gardner Minshew. It's ugly. Hold your nose. It's going to be gross, but take the double digits with the Raiders.
Anything else?
That's about it, Clay. I've been treading really lightly in the NFL. It has been tough. I've been focusing a lot on Survivor. I'm trying to convince my teammates to use your against your play against your Tennessee Titans with the Lions this week and just take the easy win and get out with a team who is trying to sell off half of their team right now. I think they're going to, unfortunately, make me take the Denver Broncos.
Kelly, are you good next Thursday for a Halloween show, or should we do the day before?
We should absolutely do a Halloween show, Clay. I'm going to K-State KU this weekend. I'm so sorry I'm not going to be at your party, but I would love to dress up on this program with you.
All right, we'll do Halloween special outfits next week. Hopefully my Ferris Bueller outfit will arrive. Otherwise, I have to be an Oompa Loompa, which is not something that I'm excited about at all. Love all of you. We will be back next week. Let's win some money. And this has been The Fade. I'm Clay Travis. She's Kelly Stewart. Hopefully starting tonight, we can get some dubs. See you guys next week. Happy Halloween.